And at the other forward, number 24 out of Tennessee, Tamika Catchings.
After exploding onto the scene in her rookie season, Tamika Catchings took the spotlight in Indiana and quickly became known throughout the WNBA for her relentless work ethic and team-first attitude. And after spending her entire professional career in Indianapolis, her name and those characteristics have become the Indiana Fever.
If anyone thinks of the Indiana Fever, they think of Tamika. She, to me, is one and the same with the Indiana Fever.
Tamika Catchings is the Indiana Fever. If you sit back and watch the way she plays the game of basketball, or watch the way she interacts with fans, or watches the way she interacts with her family, or is out there in the community, that is what the Indiana Fever is about.
Tamika Catchings' DNA is all over this franchise. You know, she's the heart and soul of the Indiana Fever.
Well, there's no question that, you know, she's been the face of this franchise really since she hit the floor 15 years ago.
It's much like any great player in an organization who becomes an extension of the brand of the organization. And, you know, we have built a franchise around a once-in-a-lifetime player.
When it's starting up, you remember the people that helped build it, you know, in a sense. And for the Fever, like literally, I mean, I was like the first player here, and I shouldn't, not the first player, but like they had 1 year before I got here, and the second year I was hurt. And so the third year of the Fever, I was, you know, here, and right off the bat, it's like, okay, this is your team, take it and, you know, take it to the promised land. But I think because of that, you know, because I've been here from the beginning, it's just, that's what, when people hear about the Fever or they think of the Fever, they think of me.
I'm not sure this franchise, as strong as it is, would maybe even be here without Tamika Catchings. That's how impactful she's been, because she has been the face that people have gravitated to. Even somebody that doesn't follow the Indiana Fever on a daily basis, they know who Tamika Catchings is.
As a dad, you always want your kids to do better than you. And one of the questions that I asked her early on in her career, I said, Mika, I said, how many years do you want to play in the WNBA? She said, I don't know, Dad, but I know that I want to play longer than you did.
And Tamika did just that, donning a WNBA jersey for 16 memorable seasons. And for each of those 16 seasons, the team on her jersey remained the same, creating an inseparable link between Tamika Catchings and the Indiana Fever.
I think it's a two-way street. I think Indiana, the organization, the Pacers, the Fever, I think they've proven in the past that they are a loyal organization to loyal players. And you can go back onto the Pacers and look at players who stayed with them for a while. But Reggie Miller definitely comes to mind. His entire career was with Indiana. And I think it's easy for players to do that in that organization. And if she knew that she could make a difference in Indiana, she chose to stay.
I've always known that they have my back. And I'm sure they know that too, from a loyalty standpoint. You know, just wanting to make sure that whatever it took, you know, to be able to represent this organization. And, you know, I've had opportunity, but in my mind it was like, this is where I want to be.
It's not a common thing for that to happen, you know, and there's only a few of us in the WNBA who have done that. There's just something about that, and you can tell Tamika has such a connection, again, to this community, to this franchise, so it's great that she's able to do it all here in one place.
And now you've got, you know, 16 years of built in with a player like Tamika, who really has become the face of the franchise. And that's hard to find these days. It's hard to find a player who will stay in a city and stay in an organization that long. As we know, we've seen a lot of changes happen in other pro sports, but, you know, we've been fortunate that, you know, we built this franchise around a player like her, a person like her, and she's really become, you know, the extension of the brand of the Indiana Fever.
I can only imagine how many people she's impacted in her 16 years, you know, whether that's staff or teammates or coaches, and, you know, she just has this personality and this energy that is so contagious, and it makes everybody better around her. So she has made individually, made this organization better.
She became such a leader of the Fever franchise that all the other players look to her and have fed off of her, and their success has been driven by Tamika Catchings.
She does not settle, I don't even want to say for mediocre, she doesn't settle for good. She settles that you need to be great. And that's how she measures herself, and so that's how she believes she should measure her teammates. And so I think when you set the bar really, really high and you're doing everything you can to get to that bar, it's just going to pull everybody else up.
For Tamika, because of her childhood challenges, I think it was always difficult for her to let her guard down and trust. But then when we were able to surround her with similar warriors like her, then she could trust those warriors. And I think that's when Tamika is at her best, when she trusts her coaches, when she trusts her teammates, when she trusts those that are around her, that they're not going to let her down.
You know, it's been a revolving door. I mean, every year, you know, she's playing with new teammates, there's new coaches, there's a lot of change. But throughout it all, I think she's stayed firm in who she is. She's continued to lead, she's continued to grow and persevere. And she just, I think, has been a rock.
It's difficult to envision the Fever without Catchings, but at the end of the 2016 season, that day will come.
I'm trying not to, honestly. It's going to be so strange. She's been here my entire career and is someone I turn to in times of need, or when I need a lift up, or even when I need a kick in the butt, she's there for me, and it's gonna be difficult.
Well, I mean, I've been here from the beginning, so it's tough. I don't know. And then, when I pictured like a blank jersey running around. Like, who's gonna be that blank? But you know what? We knew it was gonna come. You never expect it to come, but you know it's gonna come.
It's gonna be a loss, there's no question about that. You just can't replace 15 years and the longevity that she's had with this franchise. Will the Fever go on? Sure they will. Will they play basketball games? Sure they will. Will they have other players that do things significant off the floor? Yes. But she did it at such a high level that it's gonna take some time to find the person that can really continue her legacy.
It's going to be a huge void for the Indiana Fever when she's not on the court anymore, because she's been so closely tied to that franchise.
It's going to be really difficult to try to find how to replace that sort of passion that she's brought. People ask me all the time, and every year I give the same answer. What is your favorite part about the WNBA? And I say, I get to watch Tamika Catchings all summer. I don't know what I'm going to say next year.
You don't replace Tamika Catchings. You just sort of make do and move on.
Now the page turned. The chapter is a new chapter, and we have some great players that are here that will continue to carry that torch. And I'm not concerned at all as far as them stepping up and being able to fill the role. There doesn't have to be another Tamika Catchings. There just need to be people that are willing to step up in the role that they already have, but even do more now to continue to be successful.
As the Fever turn the page on the Catchings era, Tamika will start a new chapter of her life too, one filled with the same passion and endless possibilities.
When you put your attention and when you're so passionate about something and you put your focus in it, it's hard to focus on anything else. And so, for me, it's just like there's so many ideas and so many things and so many people I want to help, and something has to give.
I think that's what makes her so great, is she wants to get better every day. There's always more for her to accomplish. There's always something to achieve. There's always someone out there that she wants to help encourage or make better themselves.
Tamika has the ability to do pretty much anything she wants to do, and I think for her, just checking in with herself and making sure whatever that next step is, that it's a passion for her, and it's something that gets her up in the morning, just like this job has for the last 16 years, and she'll know what that is. We've talked about it a little bit, and I'm like, there's no rush, but you know it when you feel it. And she said, yeah, I do. So we'll see. But I expect, I'm sure, something wonderful.
She'll be running around somewhere, even if it's not on the court. She's the type of person that can't sit still. So she does something in the community, or she's out with her family. There's always something going on that she'll be doing. So that will not stop.
I think that she's excited about this next chapter of life. You know, she's got an amazing husband, and I think that him coming into her life when he did has made it a lot easier for her to say, okay, you know what, I think I'm ready, and I'm excited about what the future holds.
You never prepare for people to retire, even though you know it has to happen. And I think, you know, people looked at me and was like, oh, you can still go, and you're still playing so well, and you know, you can run, and you can do this. I'm like, yeah, but every single day, like, my body hurts. You know, and I mean, just getting married and wanting to have a family and wanting to be there for my kids, and you know, just wanting, like, my focus has shifted a little bit.
She dedicated herself to this organization. She dedicated herself to the city. And, you know, I think it's been a mutual love affair, so to speak. You know, we've tried to do everything right by her as well and give her the opportunity to grow and blossom as a player, as a person, as a contributor in the community. So it's been a great journey together.
This is what I want. I want to be in a place that even when I'm done, you know, my legacy will continue to live on off the court.
We can't forget a player like that. She's going to be with us, you know, forever.